The year is 1963, and this Impala was top of the line, full size car over at Chevrolet. But before getting into this one, I'm your host, Jay. Welcome to What It's Like, the automotive channel that features the machines from the past in mini documentary format, history, specs, design, with engine episodes sprinkled in. We also started a new series on the stories of the people and the companies themselves, planning on covering as many companies as we possibly can. We're going to try to do 2 a month. So far, we've covered the Willis Overland Company, as well as Duesenberg, Auburn, Cord, and just recently did the Thomas B. Jeffrey Company, which was the company before Nash. Nash is going to be the next one towards the end of the month, so you'll have that to look forward to. If any of that sounds of interest to you, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it so you never miss any of our videos. I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I was interviewed for Crankshaft Magazine, which is a pretty big deal. A milestone in my life, if you will. I'm actually in a magazine. That's pretty cool. Anyway, thank you so much, Milton, for the interview. This is really cool. Thank you so much. And I wanted to share this with you. Crankshaft Magazine is a quarterly publication, and it feels more like a book than a magazine, and they have all of these articles in it. If you're into vintage and classic cars, this magazine could be right up your alley. I'm going to post the link in the description below for Crankshaft Magazine. Be sure to check them out after the show. 1963, Chevrolet model lineup. These aren't in any particular order. Corvair line of cars. Chevy 2, aka Nova line of cars. Corvette full-size cars were broken down into 3 trim levels: Biscayne, Bel Air, Impala. El Camino was their car-based truck. It was built on a car chassis, but kind of sort of looked like an Australian ute. Chevrolet also offered half-ton trucks all the way up to the big commercial. Chevy offered the Impala from 1958, first appearing as, and I honestly don't have a freaking clue why Chevy did this. Why would they do this? It's so confusing, and I honestly didn't know that they did it like this until doing this channel, because somebody corrected me whenever I did an Impala earlier on. But yeah, so in 1958, the Chevy Impala was actually under the Bel Air. The Bel Air got a halo car, which was the Impala. In 1959, the Impala separated and became top of the trim heap. It's super confusing though, because in 1958, I mean, it's still considered top of the heap as far as Chevrolet full-size cars go, but it wasn't Impala by itself. It was Bel Air Impala. It's super confusing. Once upon a time, there was a store called Bed Bath & Beyond. The 58 Bel Air Impala would be in the Beyond section, I would presume. Anyway, 59 became its own model year. So the Impala was offered from 1958, technically it was a Bel Air, through 1985. They took a bit of a break, and then they would come back in 1994 through 1996, took it off the menu for a couple more years, bringing it back from 1999 to 2020. Chevy Impala was offered in 10 generations. 1963 falls in the 3rd generation, which was produced from 61, 62, 63, and 64, designed by Bill Mitchell. It could be had as a 4-door hardtop sports sedan, 4-door sedan, 2-door convertible, 2-door hardtop, 4-door 6-passenger wagon, and 4-door 9-passenger wagon. The 1963 did see a little bit of a redesign, so let's compare 62 on top, 63 on the bottom, starting in the front. At first glance, or if memory serves right, you would think that these cars are pretty similar. I mean, they're both boxy rectangular shapes, but the closer you look, the more you see these are 2 totally different cars. So let's talk about some similarities before we get into all of the differences. Both of these cars are quad headlights. Both of these cars have single-piece windshields. Both of these cars have windshield wipers that follow. Differences: just about everything. The bumpers are different, grills are different, as well as hood profiles. Windshield profile also changes between these two. The 62 has more of a bubble top windshield, whereas the 63 is just slanted back like your typical windshield would be from this time period. The side mirrors are also interesting. They're both circular side mirrors, but the 63, sorry, I was going to say 64, the 63 is more upright, whereas the 62 is more lower down, if that makes any sense. It's more off to the side, and the 63 is more upright. Moving to the side profile. We're going to start with the roof and work our way down. So look at the roofs between these two. The roof profile looks about to be about the same. Both of them have that kind of like convertible top appearance about it, with the ridges in the back just above the sail panel. Because the windshield profiles are different on these, the vent windows are also different. Just take a look at how different the vent window profiles are between these two cars. Also notice on the 62, the windshield kind of bubbles out, bubble top, whereas the 63 is more slanted back. Also take a better look at the side mirror profiles between these two. As you can see, the 63 is more upright and the 62 is more off to the side. Also notice the difference in the sheet metal between these two. In the front fender, the side profiles between these two cars look very similar until you start really looking at these two cars. Look at the front fender. Notice the angles are different, ever so slightly different. On the 63, for whatever reason I want to call it a 64, but it's a 63, the point is practically right in the middle. But on the 62, it's not, unless the bumper is mounted in a different place. Super interesting. You could also take a gander at the side bumper profiles. They're totally different. The side sheet metal has changed between these two. The 63, the beltline trim protrudes, the body protrudes, it actually fans out. You'll see it better during the walk around. The rear quarters are totally different between these two cars. The 62 just kind of like slants out at the back, but the 63 has a point that mimics the front point. Impala is spelled out on both of these cars, but it's more of a script on the 62 with the badging at the end. The 63 has the badging at the end with Impala spelled out on the white painted accent piece that protrudes off of the bodywork. The gas filler situation is roughly the same location. It's harder to see on the black car. Moving to the rear, as you can see, a lot has changed, and there are some similarities, like the 3 tail lights in the back. Impala giveaway. That's the easiest way to tell if it's an Impala, if it has the 3 brake lights. Bumpers are different. Both of them have that aluminum panel in the back, done slightly different. The aluminum panel also signified that these two cars are both SS models. The trunk deck lid is also different. The 63 has a channel in the center, whereas the 62 doesn't. Jumping inside to take a quick gander at the dash and the interior situation, which are both roughly about the same. The gauges did change. The 62 has round gauges just below the drum style speedometer, whereas the 63 has the drum speedometer and then some of the vitals in rectangular gauges just off to the right-hand side of the speedometer. Both of them have idiot lights. Which one do you like better? Let's talk specs. 210 inches long, 79.5 inches wide, 55.5 inches tall. It rides a wheelbase of 119 inches. It weighs around 3,000 pounds. Price, $2,780, which would be equivalent to you spending $29,053.63 in the year 2025. Total 1963 Chevrolet was 2,237,201 units. Moving on to engines, which there was a ton, a plethora, if you will, to choose from. 230 cubic inch displacement, turbo thrift, overhead valve, inline 6, 3.77 liters. It was good for 140 horsepower at 4,400 RPM, 220 pound-feet or 298 newton meters around 2,400 RPM with a bore of 3.9 inches and a stroke of 3.3 inches. Compression was 925 to 1. When backed with a 2-speed Power Glide automatic, 0 to 60 could be had in 15.5 seconds, achieving an average of anywhere between 16 to 18 miles to the gallon with a theoretical top speed of 94 miles per hour. Moving on to the first V8 option of 283 cubic inch displacement. It was in Chevrolet's small block V8 family with overhead valves. 4.6 liters. It was good for 195 horsepower, around 4,800 RPM, 285 pound-feet, or 386 newton meters, around 2,400 RPM, with a bore of 3.9 inches in a stroke of 3 inches. Compression was 925 to 1 with 5 main bearings. When backed with a 3-speed manual transmission, 0 to 60 could be had in 9.3 seconds with an alleged top speed of 109 miles per hour while achieving an average of 13.2 to 15 miles to the gallon. Up next was the 327 cubic inch displacement overhead valve V8. It was also part of the Chevrolet small block family, 5.4 liters. It was good for anywhere between 250 to 300 horsepower at 6,000 RPM. 360 pound-feet, or 488 newton meters at 3,200 RPM, with a bore of 4 inches and a stroke of 3.3 inches. 5 main bearings. When backed, the 300 horsepower version, when backed to a 4-speed manual transmission, 0 to 60 could be had in 6.9 seconds. Theoretical top speed, 125 miles per hour, average 12 to 14 miles to the gallon. For those that wanted a little bit more power, baby, Giddy Up 409. Overhead valve V8. It was part of Chevrolet's W Series big block family, 6.7 liters. They offered 3 flavors of the 409, 340, 400, and 425. And that could be achieved at about 5,000 RPM. 420 pound-feet, or 569 newton meters, around 3,200 RPM, with a bore of 4.3 inches and a stroke of 3.5 inches. Compression was 11 to 1. When backed with a 4-speed manual with the highest horsepower 409, 425 giddy-up horsepower, 0 to 60 could be had in 6.3 seconds. Average fuel economy was anywhere between 8. You might be able to get 10 out of it if you drove it gingerly. Theoretical top speed, 145 miles per hour. If you're in the market for a 1963 Chevy Impala SS, I know a place that currently has one for sale. This car, our featured car, is currently for sale at Classic Auto Mall, Morgantown, Pennsylvania, where they got this car, and they got at least 900 other cars currently for sale when recording this episode. And get this, anybody can go peruse their inventory, whether that be online or in person. And if you've never been there, let me tell you, when you walk through those doors for the very first time, I swear you can hear angels sing. Oh, I'm sorry, that was Foghorn. 4 hours of operation, directions, and to get the full scoop on this very car, be sure to click the link below after the show. Let's talk styling. Starting with this fender line. Notice how it comes down into a point right there. Coming around the side. Just look at how this phantom line runs the bodywork of the car. Headlight bezels. Turn signal indicators are mounted down below. Just check out this bumper profile. Wheel openings are flared. The grille bevels down. It's more pronounced beveled down, and then when it gets up here, when it gets up to this point, it bevels up. This bumper doesn't have bumperettes and or overriders. It has a lot of texture effect here in the center. Chevrolet displayed on the nose of the car. Chevrolet bow tie badge. There are 2 ridges that appear in the hood. One's right there. The other one's over here. Single piece curved windshield with windshield wipers that follow. This car is riding on P195/75R14. Does not have rocker trim or rocker molding. does have beltline trim that starts right past the wheel opening, and it runs the length of the car. It also fans out as it goes back, which we'll take a gander at that right now. The most aggressive point of this is right about here. And then it says Impala at the rear. Then you have this line here, which goes the whole way back. Side mirror is adjacent to the vent window. It's designed like that. External cowl with windshield wipers that follow. Stainless around the base of the windshield, and it continues up the A-pillar. Drip rails, which run the length of the car, starting right here and running the length of the cabin. Also notice the lines in the roof profile, how it follows down here. You also have these ridges. They kind of make the top look like a convertible top, but it's not. It's a steel roof. The deck lid has a channel in the center. Gas filler door is on the driver's side. SS badge here on the rear. And just look at this. 3 tail lights, and the closer you get, you can see that this back part almost looks like turned aluminum. The bumpers in the back are completely different than the ones in the front, but they do kind of mimic the same profile. Like you have all this texture effect in the center. Oh man. This door is heavier than anything made nowadays. This lock and unlock vinyl material, carpet down below. Notice the carpet is a totally different color than the exterior of the car. It's more of a teal color. Armrest as well as door handle to pull the door shut. Door handle to get out. SS badging so you don't forget that this is a Super Sport. Window crank for the vent window, which operates like this. Window crank for the big window, and it's all framed out, trimmed out. Coming down inside the pedal box down here, you have the high beam switch right behind the emergency brake. Emergency brake and or parking brake release right here. You got clutch, brake, gas pedal. There is a footwell vent right here. Just take a gander at this interior. Nice quality shot. Here's what over the hood looks like. It's what first person over the hood would look like. Up above, this one doesn't have sun visors, which is interesting because I think this car did come with them. But it looks like the headliner must have been replaced because there's no evidence that there was ever sun visors up there. Rear view mirror and center. This one has a center console. Man, look at that. The storage thing is deep. And it's about the size of like a mail slot.
So probably put envelopes or whatever you want in there. The camera I don't think will fit. Yeah, the camera's not going to fit in there. Take a look at all of this engine turning down here. This one's got a 4-speed stick, reverse up there, and then the standard H pattern. Ashtray, which slides out. On to the glove box test. Here is our test subject. Here is my hand for reference. Here is the glove box in question. And this one's got 3 cup holder indentations for the drive-in or the burger stand. Oh man, look at that. It fits in there. No problem at all. And it shuts. Honestly, there's enough room to put some lens accessories in there as well. It's a huge glove box, and it locks. Getting in the rear. That is how much space you have to get back there. Before getting back there, just check out all of the bright work on the seat back itself. Also check out the footwell. It's tubbed a little bit in the front, but it dips down even more in the back. It does have quite a big transmission tunnel. There is a light at the back of the center console. This is what the front looks like from the back. Let's take a quick gander at the greenhouse or the pillar to glass ratio. It is nice and airy in this car, and I think it has a lot to do with the interior color choices, teal and white. It's very nice in here. This is what visibility looks like out the back from the back seat. There is a parcel shelf. There are lights in the sail panels. Seat back profile. It's rather upright and it does dip down quite a bit back here. But with that said, aside from feeling like you're power pooping, I'm 6'2" and there's enough space to put my fingertips in between my knees and the back of this seat. You could fit adults back here, no problem. There is a speaker housing in the center. Everything found on the passenger side is also found on the driver's side. There aren't any coat hooks, but there's bright work around the windows. Light in the sail panel. Armrest as well as ashtray. The windows do go down back here and they operate like this. Coming to the under the hood section, the hood release is right here. It's all one motion. This one's got an aluminum radiator, 12-volt battery, one belt system that runs the water pump. Notice this one doesn't have a fan that runs off the water pump. Instead, it has an electric fan, 2 electric fans on the radiator. Aftermarket, of course. Alternator, which is all powered by this super thin belt, driven from the crankshaft. So, does not have power steering. It's mechanical. It's manual steering, but I love that you can see all of that and love how accessible everything is. Single master brake cylinder, non-power assist. This one does have a coolant reservoir overflow, as well as 2 horns in the front, one stacked one on top of one another.
On the positive side, this car has tons of engines to choose from. It's a big car with a huge locking glove box that the camera fit in with tons of room to spare. It also has a locking center console. Against it, personally, I think this era of Chevy has to be one of the most boring interior space of any Chevy ever made, especially the dash instrument display. It's lacking ambition, but that's just my opinion. All right, now it's time for Would You Rather. Two scenarios today. In the first scenario, would you rather have a 1963 Ford Galaxy or 1963 Chevy Impala or 1963 Plymouth Fury? I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free to pause the video. On to the second scenario, a bit outside the box like they generally are, but which one would you rather have? 1963 Studebaker Hawk Gran Turismo or 1963 Chevy Impala or 1963 AMC Ambassador 990. Once again, going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free to pause the video. On to name that tune. First person to get both the name of the band and the song title correctly in the comment section will have their comment pinned to the top of it. There's just something about Motown that really puts a smile on your face. You could be in the deepest, darkest depths of depression and just listen to that song and bring a smile to your face. Anyway, thank you all so much for coming out and watching this one. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below. Or you can always send me an email at what_its_like@yahoo.com. Thanks again for everything that you guys bring in the comment section. I really appreciate all the stories and memories that you share. Until next time, toodaloo! I was thinking about doing a whole episode in this voice. Welcome to the after show. This part of the video doesn't have any sound or commentary, but you can put whatever sound or commentary you wish. Perhaps you're into Shakespeare. You put William Shakespeare in the background and see this car like you've never saw it before. Enjoy.